Welcome to Truth Behind Travel Podcast, a platform for tourism, travel, and hospitality professionals and enthusiasts to share, learn, and unlearn what we need to create better tourism, protect the environment, and become better humans. I'm your host, Dolores Semeraro, and every week I bring on the podcast the voices of those out there making a difference to learn the hard truth behind the world of travel and tourism, what works and what we can collectively do better. Welcome to Season 4, a series of conversations fully dedicated to women in travel, the trailblazers, the visionaries who have been and continue to be the force for good we need to hear more from. Joining us on the show, I am thrilled to welcome Truth Behind Travel podcast sponsor, Women Travel Leaders. Women Travel Leaders is a community that supports high-performing, purpose-driven travel business leaders to grow their business in less time by fostering a community of heart-led leaders who prioritize authenticity and impact above all else. Are you ready to start thriving in your travel business and your life through connecting with a powerful community that truly has your back? Well, head over to the show notes and on the link, mention Dolores in the referrer name to first access when applications open and receive 25% off your first year of membership. Welcome back to Truth Behind Travel, my friends. My guest today is an incredible hospitality entrepreneur, born and raised in Portugal on the magic island of Azores. That is on my bucket list, by the way. She's a passionate traveler by profession, hotel curator by vocation, and dedicated her life to an adventurous lifestyle to inspire and guide like-minded hoteliers. Some may describe her as a talented hotelier, a creative designer, a gifted trainer, as a founder of TH2, and also founder of the luxury hotel soft brand UniqueStays. But here today, she is more than this. She embodies a true hospitality spirit that puts people first, and with her disarming moments of truth, she is able to evoke a time and a space where hoteliers were true to their work and their words. So join me as I welcome Catarina Varão. Welcome back to Season 4 of Truth Behind Travel podcast. Today, my podcast guest is not just a woman in travel or a woman in tourism, is someone that has embodied hospitality and avant-garde, I'd say, innovative hospitality, sustainable hospitality from the very beginning. Welcome, Catarina. It's a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you so much for the invitation, Dolores. I am thrilled to have this conversation in your podcast, which I've been listening and I follow for quite a long time now, since we met. I admire your work and I feel very happy to be here and to showcase with you what we are doing in Portugal.
I've been to Portugal. I've slow traveled across the country, north to south, for about 2.5 months last year. I've seen the realities of good hospitality, bad hospitality, seasonal hospitality, and missed opportunities in hospitality. And before we got into the podcast questions that I'm going to drill you with, I really would like you to take us a bit of on a journey of how did your path look like as you were, growing into the industry? What made you the professional that you are today?
I always like to share the story of my reality as an insular. So I grew up and lived until I was 18 in the Azores, the islands in the middle of the Atlantic. And my father was always very keen in celebrating each occasion. Instead of just doing some random parties or going out for dinner, he would like to take us out to sleep at hotels. And since we are in an island, it's ridiculous. because sometimes we just slept 5 kilometers from home. So it was too close, but we felt all the enchantment starting from there. I remember me and my sister being, of course, all excited about how is the bedroom, what are those small soaps and the amenities that they have in the bathrooms, and then in the morning being thrilled about the breakfasts and the different things that they serve in the morning or even in the minibar. And this is, I think it was a good influence in my hospitality enchantment thing. And from then on, of course, I've studied, I had the university degree in the mainland. So I live in Portugal since I was 18, Portugal mainland. And then I did some post-graduations and a master degree in Spain of Hoteles con Carácter. It was a European university master degree. And now I'm doing a PhD in geography. So I haven't ceased learning. So I like learning. I'm a curious mind. And in the middle of this learning and developing, I understood that hoteliers struggle not only with, the human resources and the people that work there, but also in terms of creativity. So I like to define myself as an hotel curator, adding some wow factor to the hotel. So what is it that you have that's different? And I'm not talking just some fancy pieces of art or furniture or a design architect work. I'm talking about the involvement of people. And that is completely related to sustainability, because if you want to be an hotelier, it just doesn't start about by buying a build and doing a 4-wall and 1-bedroom unit. It's much more than that. It's being present. It's the culture of the company. It's what you have to offer. And I always ask these hoteliers when I start working with them, what do you have that's so different to offer? Or what is your dream guest? And these two questions alone make them think about, do I want to be here every day with my guests? Do I enjoy this? Do I like to invite people over? And I actually do this question. Guests are not credit cards that move. They are people. And that's my obsession. My obsession is the guest experience all the way. Does it involve decoration? Does it involve training? Does it involve talking with the hotel managers and reshaping the company's culture? What does it involve? But in the end, it should be like a movie. Everything is set, the temperature, the lights, the music, whoever is there, the authors, the filmmakers. It should be like a movie, because you're creating memories.
I mean, what a great obsession to have. I love the idea of, and I'm a very strong advocate about it. Money can come back, money can be returned, money can be reimbursed. Time, not. Time is the currency of the hospitality industry. And when the hospitality industry will finally realize that the only thing they're handling is the time of their guest, they will truly embrace what guest experience looks like.
Absolutely. Even if it's just for a small activity. So the excuse that we don't have staff, we don't have money, we don't have the resources, it's actually, in fact, just an excuse. Because if you have the vocation, if you're dedicated to this hospitality, to serving, and to time, and the best that you make of it, and the time you're providing to your guests, then you get creative. So these small things just require preparation. And this anticipation of the guests is magical. And the guests can feel it. Someone was waiting for me. Someone prepared this for me to have the best time ever while I'm here. And this preparation is luxury. This is what luxury is. For my understanding, it's not just the gold and the glitter and then the Michelin stars. It's about this dedication, this this preparation of people that work in the industry, right?
Absolutely. And it makes me think of the places where, in a way, I was expecting it and it didn't happen. Where do you think this is not the case? Where do you think this incredible guest experience mindset does not happen nowadays?
When we tend to industrialize or standardize everything, a human touch gets lost in the way. Although we do want things to get easy and accessible and fast to reply to our guests and be there to our guests, but when we tend to forget what each person or each location, it's about geography, it's about sustainability as well, because it's about the place. When we forget about what the place has to offer or the involvement of the locals, this can be lost. And I'm actually a bit afraid of chains. And I'm not just talking about hotel chains. I'm talking about the McDonaldization of the world, the fast consumption of the world, the bad guys that we say, it's the globalization and the standardization of everything, which means that everything looks the same no matter where you are. There's some comfort in that when you're in a rush, but it's sad that you don't know if you had dinner in Switzerland or in South Africa because you just hate from the same chain. But we see that small boutique hotels, cabins, luxury cabins are rising like never before, and rural houses, nature manor houses, antique palaces and monasteries being rebuilt. And what do they do there? They convert it into boutique hotels, luxury hotels. Actually, the luxury service is there because we do like the comfort of our grandmother's home, but we don't like the humidity part. We like the heated floor, we like the heated towels, we like the amenities, but we do like the smell of the fireplace. We do like the sound of the voice of the people from there that speak calmly. We like the silence of the environment, not like ambulance and sirens and alarms talking all the time, sounding all the time. And that's the mix. So I believe right now that big hotels have a lot to learn with small hotels, and vice versa. If these small hotels are being built or developed considering what are the demands and what values a stay, they can enrich the experience to the guest. And if the big hotels, instead of having everything so standard, so quick, so well inside a box, if they look at what the guest actually values, maybe they will be less complicated. They'll be more at ease. It's about being at ease. People want to be at ease. And people look for these small boutique hotels because you can actually know the owner of the property, and you stay and sit and drink whiskeys with them until 4 a.m. with the owner. You barely see a director from a normal hotel, let alone the owner. So this is the magical part, because when the owner gets involved, when he can transmit the values, and then the culture of the company will grow in a correct direction, I believe.
Isn't that culture one of the pillars of social sustainability? And if you look
what
at
what is allowed and what is not, right? From the beginning.
If it starts from the ground up, who do you think has the best shot at building sustainably? The big hotels with the big budgets, or the small hotels with a closer relationship with their people?
Absolutely. That's it. This is the relationship with their people. And when sustainable consultants start doing work with hotels, it's magical that the first thing they do is to sit and talk with each employee, and they feel valued, they feel heard, even if they are not doing anything at all that concerns hospitality. Just by the fact that someone sits one-on-one with them, it's huge. It's very impactful. It will improve whichever relationship he has with the company. It's one of the things that I have lots of pleasure doing. Is connecting with the people that work in the hotels. I actually try to run away from the term human resources, because they are not just resources, they are human, and trying to have this mentorship with one-on-one guests, one-on-one employees, and well, understanding that they are our first guests, actually, from the perspective that they know everything about the hotel, and they are the players. They are the ones that will interfere on the image and the experience of that hotel to the clients, to the final guests. And we should talk more often to these people, not just about paying them at the end of the month, not just expecting and demanding this and that result, but actually understanding what do they have to offer, to add to the company, what are actually their ambitions, why are they working in our hotel and not another, and try to get in touch with them, because then they know someone that could add something. I don't know, a musician, a cooker, a guided tour. And if we work as a community and involving the locals rather than bringing someone from abroad to develop this and that, it's all about sustainability. This is the sustainability mindset, actually.
If anything, it brings me back into our conversation on, we want to make sure that local communities are empowered to participate in the decision-making process of what's going on in the region, in the area where they live and work. And in many cases, these decisions happen somewhere else, and someone from the outside of that specific region comes in and says, okay, from now on, we have to operate in this way because this is sustainability. Rather than sitting at the table and listening to locals telling them, no, sustainability here works in this and that way. It's based on seasons. It's based on the natural responses to spring, summer, autumn, winter. It's based on the water flow, when there is water, when there isn't, when it rains, when it doesn't rain. It's based on the type of agriculture we can conduct.
Learning
our
about
land, right? If I've traveled across the mountain region and the coastal regions of Portugal, and the difference between even the soil was incredible. Some soils were not agricultural friendly, so to speak. Others instead were very rich and very nourishing.
And the locals know exactly how and where to make things grow. Instead of imposing, as you were saying, Dolores, it's about empowering people and trying to learn from them. But there's something very sensitive about it, and let's put our feet on the ground in some sense. Yeah. We all like to learn, especially because we are entrepreneurs. We are curious minds. We like to develop and learn. But some destinations or some people, they are not so eager to learn, especially destinations that are not used to welcoming guests, welcoming tourists. They feel that they are just foreigners and they are strangers. In Portuguese, we call it estrangeiro, and estrangeiro comes from the word estranho, which is a strange. And we tend to look to tourists as they are strangers. This happens when the tourist destinations are not fully developed. So the sustainability here comes not only from understanding how it's done there and trying to respect the habits and the traditions, but also trying to look or teach ways to preserve those. Teaching without imposing how we should preserve their ways, their habits, or trying to make them understand the impact of eating meat every day in every meal. And this is a two-way street, not just one way that you impose, not just complying standards, but a two-way street. And sometimes this is very challenging. Sometimes it's challenging because to understand and to work with locals, you need to be with them. So they do understand the benefits of everything that they are learning and everything that the world is developing. And in the sense, I'm afraid that we are called the ones that are responsible for globalization in their property, in their lands. And that's not the what we mean. What we mean is to create good conditions for the locals in first place, rather than for tourists. And that is the main focus of sustainability. That should be the main concern, the priority one. And the other day I was having this discussion with some peers in a local government. And well, while they were saying, we are not developing events, we are not doing anything that's special because the locals won't come. I say, okay, but you cannot create things just for tourists. And if the locals won't come, maybe you're not talking to the locals as you should, or in a way that they find it appealing. Because it should start by the locals. It should start by improving the quality of life of the tourists.
I like your point of creating events and opportunities to, entertainment, cultural enrichment that appeals to locals first.
Locals.
And I would add to that it's not just the appeal factor that needs to be sort of considered and packaged in. It's the pride factor, because a local activity, a local festival, a market, or a singing competition, whatever it is that represents or aims to represent a local culture, should create a sense of pride in the local people. If it doesn't create a sense of pride, then it's just a tourist activity. That's it. It's not an entertainment. It's not an experience. It doesn't represent a local culture. In fact, in many cases, I've come across examples of inappropriate cultural representation, where the cultural, so to speak, elements were made like puppet, were puppetized, if that's even a word. And in that sense, locals will not recognize themselves as something that they are proud of. They will distance themselves from it. And tourists will come here and will come into a destination and hoping to find that specific thing that is meant to be a signature activity or a signature experience. And they would instead find a staged performance rather than an authentic experience. So stage performance versus authentic experience. Where have you seen this going wrong? Like, where have you seen potentials of incredible experiences that were taken wrongly, and they were developed in the opposite way?
Unfortunately, it happens. So we have the sense that the guest understands that. That's the problem. Because we want to stage it and make it feel so perfectly that we try to fool the guest, the tourist. And when the tourist feels like he's been fooled and the story was not like that, and those guys are just actors, they are not locals. When the things are too overreacting, the tourist feels like a fool, and they want to know authentic places. So when you try to stage it, you're repulsing more than attracting. Don't ever forget why you start. And even for some that say, oh, but we are doing this for so long, we have no story. Everybody has a story. A family has a story, a context, why it happens, a why, at least a why. And if you have a why, the who will naturally come, because then all these storytellings come, because the players are not marketeers. Marketeers know that we need a story. The players are just players. So if they are playing in daily basis, doing their thing, what is this thing about authenticity? I don't know. What is this about sustainability? I'm just talking with my cow in the morning while I'm milking her. It's a normal thing I do. And I pet her and I kiss her goodnight. That's a thing I do. And that's why we have this wonderful milk. Is this sustainability? Is this authenticity? And when I have people over, I ask them to please say hello to my cow and take a seat and taste her milk or whatever. Is this staged? Or is this raw? Because we search for raw. I think this is the thing. Of course, in UniqueStays, the soft brand that I founded, we don't have people milking cows in all the properties. We don't have people doing pottery all the time, but we do enjoy that they are proud to do their own bread in the morning and to brew their coffee, and some even to produce their own wine. And they like to have guests in their table for dinner, and they are the first ones to play guitar by the fireplace, the guests. And it's not a lie. And I'm talking about hotels that charge 500 euros per night, 600 euros per night. They have fireplaces in the bathtubs, not in the corner of the bathroom. It's like a continuity of the bathtub. And this is the wow factor. Of course, it's architecture, it's decoration, but it's this dedication of the people that make things authentic, actually.
Well, one thing is to showcase an authentic experience by going and finding raw moments of true life, real life, and then showcase it to the world. And the moment you showcase it to the world, you are already sort of distributing it to the world to know of. So the question is, how many of these raw experiences are meant to be subject of storytelling in tourism, and how many of those experiences instead are better stayed as better kept as hidden gems, So it's always this controversy of showcasing to promote authenticity versus protecting hidden gems so that you can call them hidden gems. And what is, in the tourism of today, a hidden gem?
This ambiguity or this parallel idea of showcasing versus protecting. Well, it all depends on how much you are able to showcase what you want to protect. What is the measurement? Specialists tend to do these studies about the saturation of a place. We are all afraid of mass tourism. We are all tired of lines to see things, to spend hours in line to go to a point of interest. And this hidden gems concept, it burdens a lot because it's a trend that it actually irritates me a bit. This hidden gem, I know the hidden gem, come see, this is an hidden gem. And then you have companies just dedicated for hidden gems. But I'm this traveler that likes these hidden gems because I don't like people. I don't like, crowded. I don't like crowds. I don't like places that are too crowded. It's arrogant to think that they are the tourists and we are not. They are the lines and we are not. You are the traffic. You are the masses. You are. And it's time for us to be humble, to understand that it's not theirs. It's not the others. We are the others. So the sooner we understand that, the sooner we will learn how to protect what it's interesting. Because everything can be showcased. You just need to know how to showcase it, and for the right people, because people have interested in the most various things. That let's have this balance here on being overprotective to the point that you don't allow development. Because when you're in this state of mind, maybe you're not developing the right thing, not overdeveloping. You're not developing the right thing. And in the other hand, actually running away from mass tourism, that's everything that every place wants. We don't want mass tourism, but do understand that we are the masses.
The vision of UniqueStays. you have been a general manager or a hotel manager, or in general, any management roles within the hotel ecosystem, you've had it. You've done it. You went through it. You've grown into this professional, diverse persona. And then Unique Stays. What is that about?
So Unique Stays is about meaningful stay. So as I stated, try to promote this life at ease. And we get together with hoteliers that are like-minded. They think like we do. They feel the same way. They understand that there's a need for a coherent service. So what we like most about Unique Stays is that we work with the hoteliers, but we work for guests. We are both working for guests together. So in one side, there's this business to business working with the hoteliers or understanding their essence, their character. And we work with guests, understanding what do they need? How do we reach out to them? In the end, we want to suggest the hotel that suits the guest best. And that's our purpose. We promote slow living, we promote slow travel, and we want to consider ourselves ambassadors of this and spreading the word.
What would you say is Unique Stays' secret talent?
Creativity, but creativity is so vain, so vague. But it's around being inventive. We are not afraid to fail. Sometimes we lack of courage to develop things because it's different.
I encourage all the people listening to this podcast to head over to the show notes and have a look at the link of Unique Stays, which I will put in the show notes for you guys, and have a look at the world that Catarina has created with these hoteliers and the experiences that are there, that are featured, and just leave you wonder if these experiences are featured. Just imagine what it is not. Just imagine what it is still a hidden gem, a true hidden, because it can never be a hidden gem if it's featured somewhere. The moment you feature is not hidden anymore, right? So great. Thank you so much, Catarina. This was a fantastic conversation. If you would leave the podcast listeners with a word of wisdom on guest experience, what would you leave them with? Like a suggestion, a recommendation, something that comes from your heart?
I cannot be completely impartial from my business perspective or intent, but I feel that more and more we are discovering the hotels exist in platforms, and then we try to contact these hoteliers directly, and that's my call. Do contact the hoteliers directly. So even against myself, contact the hoteliers directly and understand. And this is a message for both travelers and hoteliers. So every effort behind this moment where the client actually contacts the hotel, what it leads to this moment is the true important and working thing in the process. So do contact one another directly and do the work behind it, because the work for that to happen is huge on both sides. Either if you're a traveler, try to find something that's meaningful, that has something important and different to offer, and in the side of the hotelier, work your way around. Be different, not just one more of the herds, and stand out.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Catarina. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dolores.
Thank you for joining me today on the podcast. I absolutely loved all the golden moments of truth today with Catarina. And if you also love this episode and want to get in touch with her, all you need to do is to head over to the show notes and get in touch. Before you go, take a minute to share this podcast episode with your community, your friends, or with whoever you think needs to hear this today. Thank you for being here with me and my amazing podcast guests. I look forward to having you on board for the next episode soon. Farewell, my friends.